Hello everyone. Welcome to Mabontle Life Coach. Welcome, it's a new year, new compliments. It's 2022. Yeah, today we are going to talk about career. We are going to give each other information and elaborate about what exactly does it mean when we say someone is having a career. We know that building a career is not an easy thing, so we must know what are we getting ourselves into. We have some points that we are going to talk about, but before we go there, if I can ask you a question, what is a career? Will you be able to come with a definition to know what is a career? Okay, out of my life experience and my work experience, it came to my understanding that actually a career is an activity that any person of any age, I'm saying any age, that can get involved in with the willingness and the commitment of self-developed, meaning you have to develop your career, you have to grow in it, and it requires the use of your natural abilities, your talent, your skills, your passions, as well as the knowledge and the experience that the person gains and accumulates over a lifelong period, which will result in self-fulfillment and financial gain. So out of the definition of what is a career, there are some most important key points that you need or we need to highlight to say actually this is a career, because most of the time we confuse being in a job with being in a career. So first important key point is a career is an activity. You know, we all have our own ambitions, we all have our own thoughts and our own wish, but until you implement, you put in a way of an activity, you involve your hands and your minds and actions, then that is not a career. So a career is an activity that any person from any age, when I mean any age, I mean a career can start as young as 0 years. Now, let me just give you an example. Let's look at the actors, let's look at the musicians, especially people who are in the art industry. They start their career from way back. They don't have to wait for their school years to get finished to start with their career. So it can start at any age, and any person, whether black or white, female or male, whether you are able or you are disabled, you can have a career. A career involves a lifelong period, meaning it's something that if you are in a career, you may not go on pension. You can start it as young as you are, until death do you apart with that career, if I can put it that way. Career is something that we self-develop. That is another point. Self-develop in such a way that no one will ever tell you that you can take this step and from this step and go there, until you stand up and take a decision with a plan, of course, ahead to say I want to do 1, 2, 3, and I will work around, and also with the advice from other people. But it's something that you own it, you self-develop yourself. Another point is that is a very important key point that we need to take it into consideration when we say this is a career, is when that whatever activity that we'll be doing come as a natural ability to you, come easy to you, as a talent, a God-given talent, or is a passion to you. Because remember, this is a lifelong journey. When you are involved in a career, you are involved in a lifelong journey. It needs something that is you. It defines who kgothaso is. It defines the person, what the person is. So then also you will need your knowledge, you will need your experience as you grow, because it's a lifelong thing. As you grow, you need to go along building your knowledge and experience so that your career will grow, or you'll grow in your career. Now, after having all those things, another most important key point is a career bring forth a self-fulfillment point, and also bring a financial gain. Sometimes we get involved in our job, but we don't get self-fulfilled. Ne? We are doing it for financial gain. Until you are self-fulfilled, it comes to a point where something inside of you saying, now I've reached what I also wanted to do, because this is a God-given talent. This is a natural ability. This is something that you need to take it out of yourself and put it to the world. Then that's where you are going to become self-fulfilled. So career brings forth self-fulfillment and also financial gain. All right, since now we are a little bit clear on what a career is, or on what a career might be, we really need to identify the difference between what is a career and what is a job, because sometimes it comes to a confusion, especially when you want to choose a career. You think of, okay, because I want to work here, ne? Because I want to do 1, 2, 3. So now, if we can just reflect a little bit about what is a career and what's the difference between a career and what's the difference between a job. Okay, from the definition of the career, we know that a career is a lifelong term. It's something that is for a long period, ne? That you even start from at any age. But when coming to a job, we all know, especially according to the basic Conditions of Employment Act of South Africa, no person can go to work as long as you are still under the age of 16. So to say that you are working or you are jobbing or whatever the term you may use, you need to be at a certain age, of which is totally a different thing from a career. And also a job, there are some regulation around it. You have to end at a certain age as well. People go on early pension at the age of 55, people go on a full pension at the age of 65, whatever age that it may be. But if a person is in a career, ne, even after those years, a person can still continue with a career. So that's why I've been saying that it is very important that when you choose a career, or when you are in a career, you are in something that really defines you, because you cannot say you are going on pension about yourself. It's who you are. You continue with it for a lifelong period, right? And another point that we need to remember when coming to the difference between a job and a career is, as we have said, a career, you build it yourself, it's self-developed, you grow it yourself with the assistance of others, of course. But when coming to a job, most of the time we wait for someone to hire us until you get hired by someone, you know, until you come to a point where maybe someone promotes you. That's where you say there's a growth. But when coming to a career, as you get involved in your career, you develop yourself. You don't have to be dependent on someone to give you that growth. So someone who is involved in a career and someone who is doing whatever that she loves or he loves, someone that is showing out his talent, natural abilities, someone that is showing his or her own skills, ne, and knowledge, that's a person that is involved in a career. But a job, you depend on someone. So we also have to know that as career is bringing forth the self-fulfillment feeling as well as financial gain. because it's very important also for your career to bring forth the financial gain. The job on the other side, sometimes it can only be for paying off bills, it can only be for financial gain. If it's not something that is your natural ability, you may not get fulfilled. So you may be working in a good job, earning a good salary, but not reaching a point of self-fulfillment. Of it is something that no qualification can buy, no money can buy, no status, no rank can buy, because it comes as you are exercising your natural abilities, as you are exercising your passion. So if you are in a job and your job is not a career, or your job, it doesn't define who you are, then unfortunately you'll be working. That's why most of the time it comes to a point where people, even though they are in good position, they get tired of what they are doing. They get discouraged. Sometimes they don't, or let me just talk about myself. Sometimes I will say, I don't feel like going to work, because why am I feeling like that? I'm not doing what defines me. I'm doing a job. I'm working, all right? Another point that of it is going to be the last point that we need to maybe notice, will say, if I'm in a career, as I'm using my passion, it requires you to use your passion. Career needs a passion. Career needs a natural talent. And it's also important as well to get qualified for whatever that career you are involving in. Let me just give you an example about musicians or businessmen. It can be your passion to be involved in a business. I know so many people that they have started their career without qualification. They are involved in business, but as time goes, as they build their business, sometimes they get to a point where they fail, because they lack what? They lack the knowledge that through education process, it's very important that even though you have found your career, you will have to boost it with what? With the professional knowledge, with education, because the two goes together. One another boosts another. One part boosts another one. So also, even if we have said I found my career, make to a point that you accumulate knowledge through your studies, through whatever. Then that's how you know that you'll be able to boost the natural abilities, to boost the talents that you have, and also the passion that you have. Then, but when coming to a job, to the job, even though you don't have natural talents, there's no necessity for you to have a natural talent. We can all work as long as we have our experience, or we are skilled, we have been trained. Any person can do whatever they want to do. They can work wherever they want to work, even though it is not a natural abilities. But it comes to a point where I've noticed the difference between these two people. Someone who come to a job having a natural abilities, having a natural talent and having qualifications and knowledge, and someone who just come to the job having only the skills and the education, but does not have the natural skills. You'll find that these two persons, even though they are qualified and doing the same job, they won't bring same results, because it's really, really important. Actually, the point for today is, when you get involved in a career, be involved in something that comes naturally for you. Then you'll be of a success that someone who has just got educated. Yeah, so that's the point that we can look at when we choose our career, when we are looking for a job. And another thing that we have to come in mind is, you can have a career and a job at the same time. Your career can be your job, but sometimes your job can just be your job and not be your career. So it's very important to match the two. We have to come to a point where we need to choose a career, since a career defines who we are. but most of the questions that my clients are posing to me is like, how do I choose a career? Because especially now in January, you don't know what to register in school. You are just all over the place. You don't know where to start. But I normally say to them, to choose a career that is switching you or that defines you, you first have to know who you are. You really need to know yourself. You really need to know your strength. You really need to know your interests. What are you passionate about? What is an area of concern about your life? Then out of those things, you'll be able to navigate through them and know how to choose a career. If you don't know yourself, and unfortunately when I'm talking about knowing yourself, I'm talking about knowing about the inner person, the ability of the inner person, what is capable of. So unfortunately, because we are just in a crowd, or sometimes most of the time we study while we were still young, you really don't know actually who kgothaso is. It really gets a challenge when we have to choose a career. So it's really important that as we grow up, while growing up, we have to come to notice the interest that we have. We have to come to notice the passion that we have. You have to come to notice the strength that you have, because it's something that you are born with. So knowing yourself around those areas, it becomes very easy to match your strength and your interest and your passion and every concern that you have about life, to match it with a career. You can ask me about anything. Maybe, for example, you say, I have a concern about crime in South Africa. Once you have a concern about something, that's where maybe if you can take notice and take notice of yourself, that's where your career can come out. You'll find that sometimes, maybe if you can ask your policeman, how come you became a policeman? You tell, because I really don't like crime. So me being in that kind of a career, I know I'm gonna make an impact. All right? Yes. So that's how being who you are, we are matching being who you are with the career that you choose or the career that you involve with. Sometimes it comes to a point that even though you know your career, you know who you are, you know what you do to do, sometimes it becomes so difficult to say, where do I start? You don't know where to start with the career you are having, or you are thinking about, or the passion that you are having. You don't know where to start. Maybe one of the reason might be you don't have the resources, because these things, they also need resources. They need time, they need money, they need all these kind of things. So I would like to advise that start with whatever you have. Whatever you have, whatever that you find at your hands, start with it. I like the slogan, just do it. Whatever that you think that this is my passion, just do whatever. Even you can even look around the house. Let me give you an example about the chefs or the people who are involved in the cooking industry. People who are writing the menus and the people who are writing the recipes, and they are very successful. If you can ask them, they will let you know that I started in my mother's kitchen. I started in my mother's kitchen, and with time I grew up, it grew, it turned into a small kitchen, in a soap kitchen, it turned into whatever until where I am. So what I'm trying to say here is start with whatever you have at your disposal, whatever you find your hands to do, just do whatever that you think of doing it. And also, if you don't know where to start, how about you volunteer? You can volunteer in your area of interest. put your time, put your time in whatever career that you want to involve. Time is very important. That's why in the beginning I've always emphasized the matter that this is a lifelong journey, something that we don't do it now and say I'm in a career and expect to be somewhere where people who are successful are. It's something that even if you can start small, but to growth is important. You can also consult with people in the same career that you want to get involved. Make consultation, do your research, and make sure that you get as much information. As much as you are doing your consultation, as much as you are doing your research, as much as you are volunteering, out of that you are gaining experience, you are gaining knowledge, you are gaining information that can lead you to the direction where you know where to start with your career. Maybe also through that you can also get resources. You never know. As you are collecting your information, the resources may come. The resources in terms of money, you may get a scholarship if you want to study further. You may get whatever, you don't know. But what I'm trying to say is, just saying I want to build a career without putting hands on it, as we have said in the beginning, because it's an activity, then that's where you can just have a thought and say I want to do 1, 2, 3 and not knowing where to start. And also you can also get a career coach. I'm a career coach. There are a lot of career coaches outside. It does not have to be a professional career coach. We have our teachers, we have anyone that can assist you to be with you on this journey in building your career. But I would like to emphasize that a career coach should be someone who's having a knowledge, someone who's having what can I say? Someone who can try to direct your steps, and say you can do 1, 2, 3. You can do 1, 2, 3, and coach you along your journey and direct you and advise you and make some recommendation and try to put you on this journey called career. And in all these things, we need commitment. We need to grow. We need to develop. There's no career that can grow. There's no career that can develop. There's no such a thing as career if it doesn't grow. Otherwise, it will die or it will end up being a job, because at the end of the day, we need to grow. We need to develop in our career. I normally hear people saying, because I don't know where to start with my career, or because I don't have resources, they will say, I want to take a gap year. But the most important thing is, what will you be doing during that gap year? Yes, you may be taking a gap year because maybe you are tired of your studies, or you just want to think, or you want to rest. But in building a career, we need time. Yes, there's nothing wrong with resting, but a gap year is not to rest. A gap year is about having some plan. It's about having some, maybe it can be weekly plan or daily activities or monthly plan or whatever, yearly plan actually, because it's a gap year. A yearly plan to say, for this year, when I'm taking a gap year from whatever, maybe your study or your job, I'll be doing something, because we really need time to build our career. So there's no such a time of just to idle. Sometimes people confuse a gap year with an idling year. So when we are saying we are taking a gap year, you know that there will be some activities or some plans that will be implementing during that year, that at the end of the day, they will be assisting you, for example, in building the career that you have thought about. It can be a year of doing your research during the gap year. It can be a year of consultation, For the previous year, I was doing some studies on research, and I thought that because I have the whole year, I will have much of the time, only to find that when you involve yourself in research, actually don't even have time, because a year becomes even much shorter. So what I'm trying to say is, let your gap year be a fruitful year that you will use towards whatever that you'll be doing when you are out of your gap year. During your gap year, you can be involved in volunteering. Go to organizations, go to departments, go to private companies, and see if you can volunteer, so that you are sharpening your skills. You are preparing yourself some skills that you will use to involve yourself in your career. And you can also try as much activities as you like to develop your skills, because to be involved in a career, we need skills. Some career need driving skills, some career need computer skills. If you are going to get involved in business, there are a lot of skills that you can accumulate. So while you are in your gap year, having some plans and activities, you can also put in space to say, this year I want to maybe learn how to drive, this year I want to do the gardening, this year I want to do whatever skills that you are thinking of, because those skills, they will assist you. They will assist you when you are starting with your career, or when you are commencing with whatever. So in short, my dear clients, that's what I've been having about a career. So I hope as you are going to choose your career, as you are going to involve yourself this year, you'll bear in mind of what a career is. So with those little words, I would like to thank you for the time that you've taken to watch this video. Please don't forget to subscribe, and if you really need to contact me, if you still have some questions, you need clarity, or you need guidance, or you need me to be your coach, then my details will be on the screen. Thank you very much. Until next time.